I have to do my spiel.
Yeah.
So, welcome everyone to the 20th anniversary of Animae Caribe. It's been 20 long years and we're here. Congrats to Camille and the team and the rest of the partners. Guys, you did it. It's 20 years. I know it looked rough someday.
Yeah. Congratulations. It's a big deal.
So let's see. Today we have with us Wayne Carnegie, who I believe you're currently a surfacing artist at Mainframe Studios,
Yes, I am.
and you occupy a section of the animation industry, particularly the 3D animation industry, that is so important, but not a lot
It
of
is.
people
Yes.
know about it. Otherwise,
Oh,
we'd just be
yes.
looking at some gray models running across
Yes.
the
Gray
screen.
models run across the street. Yes, that's basically what's going on. But not a lot of people know. I know a lot of people, a lot of artists in the Caribbean, 3D artists. They're generalists. That means they know everything, a little bit of
Hmm.
everything. And I'm even though I'm trained to be a generalist, I in the full-time job at the studio, I am a specialist in
Hmm.
servicing and texturing.
Okay. Well, I did do a little bit of research, so I'm not completely outside of the know, but
Yeah.
the first thing I want to ask you to do is sort of introduce yourself and give us a small rundown of what you do. I know some of it, but I don't want to spoil any of the surprises.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, my name is Wayne Carnegie. I'm originally from Jamaica. Uh, I went to St. Jago High School, and then I migrated to Canada. Then I attend Toronto Film School in 2003 for computer animation.
mhm,
After film school, I started working as in the 3D on a TV series called Wabaloo,
mhm.
and my position that I was work as a 3D modeler and texture artist.
Okay.
Um, Over the years, I've worked on several animated series and feature film, most notably The Nut Job,
Mhm.
and it's been really fun. There's been really a lot of good experience. In addition to doing 3D texturing, I'm now since this year being given back in form of teaching,
Mhm.
and I'm currently at Edna Manley College in Jamaica as a lecturer of animation. And yeah, on the side, I also, when I'm not doing 3D texturing on the side, I work on children's book illustrations as side projects. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
That's excellent. And the reason it's excellent is for several reasons. First of all,
Yes,
yay to St. Jago, St. Catherine
yes,
people for the win. Um,
yes. Thank you. The San
and
Diego, yeah.
secondly, when you spoke about your work on the Nut Job, I also know you did some work on the trailers for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I have a little
Yes, I did.
cousin who watches
Yes, I
True
did.
and the Rainbow Kingdom on Netflix,
Yes, yes,
so
yes. I've worked on those shows. Yes.
I have
Um,
very familiar with your texturing work.
yeah, I worked on Troll Hunters on Netflix. I worked on Alien TV on Netflix too.
Hmm.
And True and the Rainbow Kingdom. I worked on a lot of kids television productions. I worked on even like a show called Rusty Rivets,
Oh,
Ranger Rob.
that's the little robot one.
Yes, yeah, yes, yes.
When you
Ranger
have
Rob.
cousins, man.
Yes. So I'm, and then this year, like I work on other production that I really can't say anything about because I actually work on them this year and they're not out as yet.
Hmm.
But it just continues to be a lot of Netflix related shows,
Hmm.
which is good. And But my even though I'm really happy about the success of that, like my true passion and my true dream right now is helping to develop animation in the Caribbean. Hence why I took the job at Animae College in
Hmm.
Jamaica, is to
And
do
you're
that
still
give
in
back.
Canada while doing that, which
I'm still in Canada, yes.
I know is a concern of not only the persons who are in Jamaica, but those who are in the diaspora. They've gone out
Yes.
of the country. They have made their careers, and now they want to come back and help develop the industry.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
here at JANN, we know that you are one of
Hmm.
well, our prime examples of giving back to
Yes.
the industry and still being involved in the industry, even though
Yes.
you are not physically in the
Yes.
Caribbean.
Yes. And with the advent of the internet and everything now is globalization, and people are able to connect, and no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have a strong internet connection, you can still reach out. um I'm, even though like I do animation as a job, I remember growing up in the Caribbean and having those kid look books, like for example, the grade 1 book where like I am a boy, like my name is
Yeah,
Roy,
those whole nursery
Pam,
rhyme
and
prod.
yeah, the nursery rhyme. So I remember those, and I kind of I'm working right now with Caribbean, Jamaican, even African authors, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to help them realize their stories by illustrating for them at first. A lot of the project that I took on is like a collaborative project, like a team, like a 50-50, 60-40%
Mm-hmm.
percentage wise involved. I mean, like I get a
A percentage.
writer, and I do the illustrations. And reason why I choose the illustration form is because I know one day, if it gets popular in the book form, one day people are gonna want to see it in the animated form. So
Yeah, because a
it's all
lot of
connected.
animated content comes from pre existing franchises. I actually believe
Yes,
it's easier to get the content made if it has a pre existing
yes,
franchise.
yes, yes, yeah.
So I get to jump
Hmm.
some of my questions now
Yep.
because you've actually answered a lot of them. We are
Hmm.
currently presenting at the Student Digital Media Forum at Animae
Hmm.
Caribe. And
Okay.
so, what I wanted this session to be about were some of the concerns that I had as a student and that students
Okay.
at UWI and UTech in
Hmm.
Jamaica have
Hmm.
expressed to me about their
Yep.
concerns after they leave
Yeah.
school. You have
Hmm.
actually done what a lot of students want to do. They want to
Yes.
work at an international studio. They do want to support
Yes.
Caribbean animation. They want to work on productions for Netflix. They want to work on
Yes.
feature films. And
Yes.
so
They want you.
I wanted to ask you what
Hmm.
what were some of the unexpected things or how did you get there? Because you did say that you migrated,
Yeah, I migrated. Yeah.
but how did
So
you get there after migration? Was it early migration or did you migrate after college? That sort of information.
um, I migrated. Okay, first of all, this whole love for animation and art started in way back in like junior high school, and but the real passion started when because I grew up in Clarendon, and
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother used to bring those comic strip, and I used to like try to draw them and everything. Um, and then I moved on to high school at San Diego High School. Then
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced to fine arts, learning the fundamentals and so forth and whatnot. In addition to the art stuff, like my friends used to sneak in computer magazines in the school, and you'd see video game behind the scenes. And I'm like, you mean a guy's a game designer? I want to be that. Where did
Yeah, I
they
know.
go? How?
How does
And
one do this?
how does it do it? Show me. And all of my friends are like, hey, well, you're gonna have to go to United States or Canada, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll go to Edna College. At the time, Edna College had like a graphics program there, and I was
Mm-hmm.
heading toward it because I'm an art student, so I was heading towards Edna or going to the military. But I migrated after high school. So after I migrated after high school, I, go immediately in a computer animation program
Hmm.
in Toronto.
So that was
Um,
Toronto Film School.
Toronto Film School, yeah,
Okay.
Toronto Film School. Um, and yeah, after college though, I didn't get a job. I didn't get a job in my field after studying computer animation. I didn't get a job right away.
Hmm.
It took some time, so it took about 2 years. Because I first job I got after school though, I did get a job in a printery
Hmm.
doing printing, graphic design, printing invitations and business cards and binders. I learned a lot about binding. I learned a lot about paper quality,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. So I was still learning, and then at the same time, I was always trying to build my 3D portfolio based on what I saw other
Artist.
professionals had in their portfolio. I looked at it, and at that time, I was still thinking general minded, like I have to know everything. I have to know the animate, all that kind of stuff. But then I broke it down and I said, well, I'm really good at modeling, texturing.
Hmm.
And then the first job I got a job at the studio here in Toronto called Wabaloo. It's on a show called Wabaloo, and after that, it just took off. And once you walk into the door, um, the door just opens. The door opens, and you move on to working on like the nut job, troll hunters, and so forth. So like once you get in the industry and you have a hunger for it, and you be nice to people because it's a big industry but yet small world kind of,
Hmm.
you know. So you have to really be a good person. So a good work ethic, good to be around, good personality, and then like the jobs will just fall into place. You know. So
People like to work with who they like. It's a
yes,
stressful. It's stressful,
yes,
so you need to like the people.
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I'm very happy for your story because I know there are a lot of students who are in that time period where it's immediately after
Yes,
school or they're about to leave
yes.
school and
Hmm.
they don't have a job lined up and they're worried.
Hmm. Yeah.
And somehow I've met students who have convinced themselves that somehow they have failed because they have not gotten a
No,
job immediately. But
no,
you have
no.
said this, and there
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
another partner at Mercury Filmworks who they
Yes.
did Hilda season 2,
Yeah, I
Melissa.
saw Hilda. Yes, Hilda is brilliant.
I
Brilliant.
love it so much. Can't wait for season 3.
Yeah,
But
Hilda. It's a brilliant show.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy. No, I love it so
Yeah.
much. I get very excited. I read the comics.
Yeah.
But Melissa Lynn, who is currently
Yes.
an animation supervisor at Mercury Filmworks, also a
Yes.
Jamaican.
I've heard of her. Yes, I've heard of her. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she has a similar story of she went to Sheridan, which is a hard college to get into. But her
Very hard.
story of getting into Sheridan is that she actually attended a course prior to that to learn art. She didn't get immediately
Yes.
into Sheridan. It took
No,
her
no.
2 to
Sheridan is
3
very hard to
years.
get in.
Yeah,
Yes.
she went to college to get into college.
Yes, Sheridan is very hard. Sheridan has a course called Art Fundamentals.
It's not
You have to
fun.
take that. You have to take that to get in.
Hmm.
Reason why when I just came to Canada, um, I saw that and I just side skip it because I went straight to Toronto Film School, which
Hmm.
was okay. They were okay. They were okay. Um, but but the one thing I benefit from was
Hmm.
they had the facility. The teachers were all right,
Hmm.
and at that time there weren't any placements. Meaning, what I mean by placements, mean they put you in studio as for internships.
Hmm.
There weren't that lined up at the time, but right now a lot of these students don't know that. Uh, I want the colleges too, the animation, especially the colleges who are offering animation to students, have companies lined up so these students could get industry experience, even internships. Those are
Hmm.
golden to
Very
them.
important.
very nice. You know, like for example, to work. If you're in Jamaica, you get a chance as after you graduate from an animation program, you get a chance to work in a like maybe a TVJ or CVM as a
Hmm.
coordinator or uh, you know production assistant or because camera anything man.
It's very
It's
interesting that
very
you
helpful.
should say that. I know that
Yeah.
a lot of, particularly the Heart Training Institute, they have a internship program and the graduate
Very good.
work exchange program, and
Hmm.
I believe that our one of our best studios in Jamaica,
Hmm.
Listen Caribbean,
Listen, yeah, I know
they
them.
take interns from that program. I was an intern in
Yes,
that program, and I met other
it's good.
interns in that program.
Yes, it's very good. It's
And
very good.
quite
It's
recently, I believe, I don't recall if Taja was an intern in that program as well, but I know she was a part of the group that was awarded the Sesame Street contract
yes,
from
yeah.
Kingston.
King Studio, I heard
So
about that one.
you are right that internships are very important. Quite
Very
recently,
important.
I know that VTDI is making a move towards getting industry professionals to look at portfolios of graduating students and to evaluate them, which I think is
It's a very
key.
good. It's very good. And I even like I'm at Edna College right now, and I
Hmm.
love that school. I love the students. I mean, I made sure. I even like add them on my WhatsApp. I'm like, hey, if you, I'm here 24 hours. I don't really sleep. Always up
Yeah,
creating stuff.
artists don't sleep.
Um,
It's a
and
myth.
if Yeah, and I'm like, I told the students, I'm like, well, if you have anything you're working on that you need help with, just reach out to me. I'll offer an opinion because I don't want to see you fail.
Hmm.
But if you don't reach out to me, then I don't know. I
You
can't
can't
really
help.
help you there. But if I
Actually,
get,
on
yeah.
that note, what are some things you'd recommend students do
Hmm.
to help improve their portfolios? Because I have met students who they have good portfolios and it just needs some tightening up and it just needs some
Tidying
good
up, yeah.
presentation. Because
Hmm.
excellent work but shoddy presentation can also hurt
So the
you.
presentation, yeah, presentation is key, and that's a key word right there. I like for students who want to there's a lot of website online with industry professionals
Hmm.
like ArtStation, for example.
Hmm.
ArtStation is a website where there's it's like a artist with portfolio.
Portfolio website.
It's a portfolio website. You can look at what other artists, you can look at what a character designer, how he
Is
set up his portfolio.
mhm,
Just copy
versus
that.
a
Copy it
concept artist or a
versus
prop
a concept artist,
designer or
a
an
prop
environmental
designer,
designer.
environment. Yes, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But if a lot of these students, they're like, "Oh, I'm good at I like everything here," but sometimes maybe you just design
just
some
pick one.
props. Just design some props, design some characters, or do some backgrounds, or
Even prop
um,
design, I heard that that's a field that many jobs are there for, but it's hard to
of
find
course,
prop designers because everybody wants to be a character designer or a
character
creature
designer,
designer.
creature. You have a visual development artist.
Hmm. Look
Is there we call
development,
it look development. All those kind of
color
avenues,
scripters.
color scripters. I think the viz dev people, I think they do the color script too, because it's kind of like this big umbrella kind of
Umbrella.
thing.
Hmm.
So but there's all these, but you can look at all these as a student. If I was a student, I would go online, find these artist portfolio,
Hmm.
look at the ones that I like, I'll bookmark them, and then I'll just like tailor my stuff just like
So
theirs.
just like there's, don't reinvent
Just
the
like theirs.
wheel.
Yeah.
You
And
don't need to
also
reinvent it.
another thing too, like for example, on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
I don't know how many students, I told my students, you guys gonna have to have a LinkedIn account.
Hmm.
Have it, just entering, yeah, it's not gonna be filled with stuff right away, but just set up one with a nice picture. Start adding directors, talent acquisition people, uh,
Recruiters.
follow studios, recruiters, just follow them.
They
You
will
know,
tell you exactly what they're looking for.
they'll tell you
Titmos,
exactly what they're
yeah,
looking for, man.
Titmos
And it's
recently released 2 videos by their recruiter,
yes,
Ellen Sue,
yes,
detailing exactly how she wants your portfolio to be set up so that you have the
yes,
best chance of being
yes,
seen by recruiters. She even
yes,
went
yes,
into how do you send a cold email, attention
yes,
grabbers. She showed
yes,
examples of why a recruiter might just skip over your portfolio. And these are
yeah.
things studios are giving away for free.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And like I mean, I'm a seasoned veteran, but I do the same thing when my contract is ending, I
Hmm.
go on LinkedIn and I just add people from Disney,
Hmm.
Frame, Guru in Toronto, all these studios and and then
And post your
sometimes
work.
because I just message them and say, hey, I was wondering if you guys are looking for texture artists. I seen a new production at your company. Um, I was wondering if you guys could give me some more info on that. And a lot of them would be like, yeah, sure, or oh, sorry, right now we're full. But
But
you
they
could
might
apply
save
to the
you.
website where you could be in our database, and
Hmm.
you know, so
Sometimes you don't
it
get work
works.
until months later. I've
Yes,
gotten
yes,
calls. I sent in a cold email and gotten
yes,
6
yes, yes,
rejections,
yes, yeah,
but
yes, yeah.
four
I
months
mean,
later.
yeah, yeah, you got it. Because even me, okay, like on my level right now,
Hmm.
what I get is people not don't want to pay me what I ask for, kind of thing. But that's the only thing. But I've gotten rejection emails.
Hmm.
Um, I've gotten a rejection email because, for example, I'm from a computer animation background.
Hmm.
If I apply to visual effects,
They're gonna say no.
guys,
It's
they're gonna
different.
say no. It's different. They're gonna
It's
be
a
like, yeah.
different.
They're like, sorry, we don't do cartoons here, guy. We
No,
don't do cartoons.
it's a.
So
I believe because their visual effects have to match realistic things,
absolutely,
and you
yes,
can't get that wrong because the audience will
no.
spot it in an instant.
You know, imagine me showing them True on the Rainbow, Rainbow Kingdom on my demo reel. They'd be like, sorry, we don't do pretty colors here. We just do dark and gritty and
Oh, like the mill? Let's
yeah,
do the mill
exactly,
or the molecule, the fire
yeah,
explosions.
yeah.
Oh, another
They will look at
point,
my stuff.
knowing who is in your industry. So these are
Yes,
big name studios:
big name. Everybody.
Titmos,
Yep.
Mercury Filmworks, The Mill, The
Mercury,
Molecule. There is more than Disney.
Jamfield,
Yeah,
Jamfield,
Jamfield, Brown Bag,
Brown Bag
The
Films.
Line
Uh,
Animation Studio. Guys,
yes.
write these down and go research
Yeah.
them, go look them up.
All these studios.
They make some
I
of your
just
favorite
follow them.
stuff.
I just follow them and follow their recruiters, follow their producers. I follow their
Because
producers a lot. I follow their
the producers are the ones going out and hustling for the
yeah, 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 yeah.
projects.
Yeah, I follow their line. I follow their lead designers, their lead character designer, lead. For
Hmm.
example, I'm surfacing, so I follow their lead surfacers
Or hmm.
a lot. So follow your lead layout artist guy. If you like layout, follow them. Follow them on LinkedIn. These people are not gonna like. They're nice. They're usually nice. Artists are nice. So I never met a mean artist. So
I've met shy
just follow
artists,
them.
never met a mean
Yeah,
one.
I met shy artists.
Met shy.
Newbies are shy. I'm newbies are shy, and sometimes I'm in my zone too. Sometimes I shy away. But when it comes to like, hey, animation the Caribbean, or I'm like, yes, where do I sign up?
Hmm.
Anything. So yeah, that's my advice to students is like, hey man, like just look at what other people do. Look how good they are. I know it took them a lot of years to get to maybe get a bigger portfolio, but you
Hmm.
see how they present their work and just mimic it. That's it.
And presentation can help you even if you don't
Yes.
necessarily have the techniques because it does show the studio that you are researching the industry and you're willing to learn and you have
Yes.
initiative.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but I do want to speak a little bit about your illustration work because,
Okay.
particularly for students who are in that I'm going to call it the plateau area, where you're still building up your skills to get that job that's going to
Hmm.
help you launch your career. A lot
Yes.
of them turn to book illustration because it has a lot of transferable skill sets.
It does.
Particularly, it helps you with expression and
Yes.
posing and
Posing. Yep.
composition,
Backgrounds, composition,
and being able to take words and make them into
words.
something
Yes.
that is a
It's
living, breathing image that communicates. It's very good practice, particularly I think
yeah,
for
it's very
storyboard
good.
artists.
Very good. Very good. So it's very good. And all these, like when you go to school or if you go to a certain college, you're gonna teach you all these things in classical animation, and they're
Hmm.
gonna give you all these skills. If you go to Max de Mott, Seneca College,
Hmm.
I'm just naming Caribbean, I'm just naming Canadian colleges, but
Hmm.
even Edna Manley College right now,
Edna
like they
Manley
offer
teaches
like
it. Yui
they
teaches
have
it at
they
Carmack.
have this Edna Manley College have this program called Viz, I think it's called Viz Comp or something like that. But no, this program is giving students a little bit of everything. So they learn 2D animation, they learn character design, they learn
Hmm.
illustration. So like it's up to these students to know that they're getting all these knowledge, be hungry enough, be passionate enough,
To go
and
search for
start
more.
before you leave school. You could even start illustrating books already.
Hmm.
Take what you learn, and then say if you want to start earning money and all that stuff, you could start earning money making books long before you leave schools.
Hmm.
It's just another avenue, like even for me right now. It's not more than a money thing, but it's more of because I do the illustration, children's book illustration, because I kind of want to get my name out there in the Caribbean kidlit scene, and you know the face behind the art, the face behind the story. So when a kid in the Caribbean or Africa or Canada or in the diaspora picks up a book, they're like, hey, Wayne Carnegie, it's good art. It's good
Hmm.
art. This story is gonna be good. When they pick up a book and they're like, what this Wayne, Wayne Carnegie,
Hmm.
and the author, like it's gonna be really good. I want that kind of feeling. Um, you remember growing up in the Caribbean, you see all these nicely illustrated
Hmm.
textbook. For example, I remember Old Story Time had a nice illustration on the front cover. I know they change it every
I,
now
I
and
was
then,
gonna
but
say I don't think we saw the same illustration.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was nice, but
yeah,
those stories, like I
yeah,
like fantasy and I wanted more
yes,
fantasy books. So I
yeah,
love
yeah,
like
yeah.
Anansi stories or
Nancy
Taina
stories, yes.
stories or
Mm,
what was the other one? I know there were, well, this is very Americanized, but there's scary
yes,
stories to tell in the dark. Although I
yes,
am a professional coward,
yeah,
so
yeah,
professional coward.
yeah,
But I still haven't learned my lesson yet. So.
yeah. Yes. So this children's book is just and if you look at like we were saying earlier, a lot of these children's book is being turned into Netflix deals.
Hmm.
Like for example, look at Here Love,
Hmm.
that won the Oscar. I think,
They're actually
and then
here today at Animae
yeah,
Caribe. Yeah,
those
Lion
guys, I love
Forge
those
Studio
guys,
is
man.
here today. They were here at last
I
Animae
love those guys.
Caribe, and they're here
Those
again.
guys. Those guys are such a big inspiration for me. Like I look up to them, and really just like love everything they do, like with the Hear Love
Hmm.
and so forth. If you want to check out my illustration, you could share screen. We
Hmm.
want to give the audience something to look at.
Sure.
Um, Instagram at Draughtis018.
All right, your Dratus Studios now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let me type it in.
I think you
Draughtis.
should be able to share yourself. You are a presenter, so you could take us through.
But I have my work thing up. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think I
I
want
just
anybody to see it.
okay.
Yeah. So
Dratus Studios?
018.
Zero
No,
one.
just draw this 018. I type it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can share my screen. You can share your screen, and we can talk about, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, like going back to Hear Love, I seen their stuff, and I'm like, these stories are being, they're books. Then they
Mm-hmm.
turn into like short films. Netflix pick them up. Um, you know, stuff like that.
All right. So we have your work from True in the
Yeah,
Rainbow Kingdom.
that's that. Yeah, that's my work from True and the Rainbow Kingdom. I painted the card.
Eh, I want one of
Yes.
these to sleep in. It looks
Yeah.
very comfy. And then here's your work from Ranger Bob. Rob,
Yep.
my
Ranger
bad.
up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Haha.
Ranger Rob. And on my Instagram, as you can see, I put a little bit of my 3D stuff on there that I work on, but mostly my 2D, my personal 2D things. So that will be my texturing and surfacing work.
And
I go in every
I
day.
do
Yep.
want to go back to the point that you made earlier about presentation. For
Yep.
those who are looking,
Yeah.
Wayne is a professional, and this
Yep.
is how he's presenting his texturing. It is a
Yes.
character turnaround. You can see every angle of the
Yes.
character. You can see the
Yep.
different textures,
Yes.
similar
And the direct.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a finished shot
Mhm,
altogether, so that was all compositing and light and then put together. But that's a prop that I worked on
mhm,
like that. Yeah, and yep, same thing. The you see, I put mesh is 25% opacity. The director wants to see that,
mhm,
so he knows what's up. It's a technical part. He wants because a lot of the directors are 2D people
mhm.
and this is 3D, so we need to tell them, hey, we turned on the opacity 25%, and so we present it to them like that to get it approved.
That actually makes a lot
Yes.
of sense. Consistency is something that is very
Hmm.
important. For 2D artists, you
Yeah.
do need to know how much opacity, where does the gradient stop,
Yeah.
all of these
Yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
things. um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghibli
So
for the
so
win.
yeah, those are my Ghibli. I love Ghibli, and these are some of my illustrations. If you click on anyone, yeah, so like that. So this is my style. It's simple. It's what I do when I'm not painting 3D assets.
Hmm.
It's simple and it's just cute to me, you know. And I usually show videos of how I draw them. And I still use Sketchbook Pro. A lot of people migrate to Procreate nowadays, but
Hmm.
I still use
Sketchbook Pro,
the Sketchbook Pro. Sketchbook Autodesk Sketchbook.
that software
So
loyalty, the
yes,
Autodesk
yeah,
loyalty.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel you. I'm
Yeah,
debating about switching from Photoshop to Clip Studio.
Clip Studio. Yeah,
Hide the
Clip
face.
Studio is really nice. Yeah, Clip
Hiding my
Studio is
face.
really nice. Yeah,
But trying to find some
yeah,
more. I actually remember watching you live stream this one. You were talking
yeah.
about developing this style, and recently I spoke to
Yes,
you. I said that
yes,
it reminded me of how children draw, and so it
yes,
would appeal
yes,
to
yes.
them.
Oh yeah, yes. I was talking to you. Yeah, yeah. That was you.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
professional. I'm everywhere. I'm like a
yeah,
ghost.
yeah. So this is yeah. So that's another. I just kind of make it simple. Um, if you could look at my some of my older work, if you look on that woman there with afro, that's one of my style that I used to paint like that, but I don't paint like that anymore because I don't have the time. I don't have all that time to render and all that kind of stuff. But that's one of my old style, I would say.
I like this. It reminds me of some particularly French animation. Some of the things
Yeah,
I've seen come out of studios that are more in the style of Cartoon Saloon, which is stylized
yeah, yeah, yeah.
animation.
Yes, stylized. Yes, yes.
Uh, for those of you who don't know Cartoon Saloon, that those are
Yeah.
animations such as The Secret of Kells, The
Secret.
Breadwinner,
Yep.
Song of the Sea. It's
Wolf Walker.
Wolfwalkers, very
Mhm.
Celtic based art
Yes.
style.
Mhm. Yes.
Celtic or
And
Celtic?
yeah,
Ooh, more of
so
your
oh yeah,
surfacing work.
that's this one is it's a show that I'm working on. It this is it's been announced,
Hmm.
but like the actual 3D part of it is not being released yet. So this
Okay.
is for Netflix too. It's called Super Giant Robot Brothers. Super Giant. That's for Netflix.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is when you were at Real Effects.
I was at Real Effects. Yes, I was at Real Effects.
Okay.
And if you click on, yep. So those are some of my realistic drawings. So that's me again. I draw that's when I have time. I don't have time anymore. Yes.
That's good. That means you've got
Yeah.
work doing.
Yes. Yeah.
um, this is one of my favorites. She looks so
Yeah.
cozy. This is
Yeah.
me
Yes.
in New
This.
York in
Yeah.
autumn before
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah. Yeah. So this character, I was thinking of my daughter when I was drawing this character and how simple or she, my daughter likes to go around and just say, "Hey," like she'll ask you, "So what is your name?" She meets you, she's like, "My name is Olivia," you
Aw,
know,
so
she like ask
precious.
you, So I just remember my daughter and you know how, and
It
how
does
she
give that
stand when she's
feeling,
gonna,
though. That
yeah,
feeling of just enjoying life and just
yeah,
being
yeah,
ready for the next thing that's coming your way.
yes, yes.
I admire that about kids. I want to go back to that time
Yeah.
period.
And if you click on the snow one down on the bottom, all the way to the, yeah, that one. Yeah, I like drawing snow. So I like drawing the snow kind of season,
You're in
so
Canada, so you must have a
yes,
lot,
yes,
a lot of reference.
yes, yes. So, so yeah, these are my children's book um theme illustration. In terms of actually doing a children's book,
Hmm.
if you go up top there,
This one?
uh I think the very top. I think I post the final.
Oh, this one.
Uh, yeah, yeah. This one, yes. So this is the final. This is the actual book that I'm working on right now. It's my first book,
Hmm.
um, and it's really so again, art student. While you're applying for that 3D animation job, if you could draw really good, just do a book or you know
You could
make it
be
do a
a
kid's book.
children's book illustrator.
Yeah,
You could also, if you are very good at realistic drawings and you prefer a
yeah.
realistic style, you
Yes.
could
Yep.
do illustrations for
Of course.
more. You could do
Yes.
young adult novels, you could do adult
Yes.
novels, you can also do
Mhm.
illustrations for
Mhm.
textbooks.
Textbooks. Yes. Yes. Plenty of that. Yep.
And that does help your skills. It helps you to practice expressions,
It
and
helps
you'll
you.
find yourself drawing some things that you probably wouldn't have drawn. It will challenge your art skills.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm saying this from my own experience.
Yep.
I tend not to draw old men,
Yeah.
and now I have to. And so
Yes. Yes.
you just
Yeah.
you just gotta
Yeah.
chin up.
So anything you wanna, anything if yes, and this is one of my recent drawing there with the it remind me of the kid in Jamaica, like a Rasta kid, my
Hmm.
culture. Um, you know,
With their
when I
tongues,
post,
just
yeah, yeah, when I put this online, one of my friend in the industry from LA, he's like, we should turn this kid into 3D and pitch it.
I think
Yeah,
you should. I want to see more
yeah,
Jamaicans in
yes,
3D. Yes.
yes, yes.
So
So,
I have a question. How is your skills in? Because I know you're not a character designer. You are a surfacing artist. But how have your
yes.
skills in the industry helped you when you have been exploring adjacent industries, such as book design? I know some animators move into game design as well.
Yes. Overall skilling, look, look, like on my day job, I'm painting all day,
Hmm.
painting all day. So, and it's 3D. So it just when it comes to like going back and doing a kid's book now, it's just me get to draw So, as you can see, my characters are very simple,
Mm-hmm.
very simple. So it's all about the. I just get basic shapes and paint quickly. So that's how my skills in servicing kind of helped me and be like a painter or illustrator.
Okay, so you're
Which I'm
faster at rendering than the average person, because I'm
Yeah, I'm
not.
fast.
I
I'm
am
fast at
not.
rendering. Yeah, yeah. And also, like as I said, my realistic stuff. Those usually take me a lot of time to do. Those usually take me a lot of time. So, yep,
Oh, okay, so
yep,
what were some? And again, these are questions. I'm thinking about things that
yep,
students would be con- concerned about. What were some
yep.
unexpected things that you found out about the animation industry that you never learned in college, even though you went to college in Canada, but they just surprised you that you think students should probably know or have a heads up about?
Well, one of the thing. Okay, I was when I finished school, I was busting my brain, say I have to know everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then once I got in, I realized I could be a surfacing artist.
You could just
I
do the
could
thing you
be
like.
I could model, you know? I could do modeling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I realized. But even though being a generalist, once you get in, um, you could be moved around to different departments
Mm-hmm.
and maybe get a longer contract, stuff like that. So, yeah, this was one of the exercises I did with my student at Animae College.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's a 3D simple scene put together, and all of them did really good. you
I
know.
was just taking into consideration the mesh overlaid on top of the texturing as another
Yes,
example of presentation.
yes. It's the wireframe. It's just showing that it's 3D. It's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Because other than that, anybody who looking at the actual image will say, "Hey, that's a photo. Nice photo." No, it's not. It's fake.
Speaking of
Yeah.
the photo,
There it is. Yes,
yeah,
that's a photo. yeah. It's look like a photo.
it
So
looks like
those
a
are,
photo.
and these are like simple assignments that I'm doing currently at Ednamani College
Mm-hmm.
in Jamaica with my students. This is a light material and lighting class, and all my students did really good on this assignment. As you can see, it's not a giant robot or anything. It's just simple and cute. It's just a simple telling a story,
But
and
this is very important for
yeah,
building on top. So if you can light
yes,
this, then you know how to break down the giant robot so that you can
you
light
know how to
that.
do it. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what I tell most of my students. This is another example at Ednamani College, and
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, there's a wireframe coming in there. It's just presenting, showing people that it's actual fake. Those are not real cherries. and yep,
Yeah, because my
yep,
cherries don't look.
yeah,
They're not this nice,
yeah,
this spotty.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Uh,
And so yeah, here's more snow stuff and Mike style and you know children book theme. I'm hoping to ramp up by next year. I'm hoping to ramp up more with
mm-hmm.
this. Get the stuff into children book on that front there because I'm very interested. Like I'm working with a lot of Caribbean authors right
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm talking to a lot of Caribbean artists who's seen my artwork and they know I do this 3D stuff, but then I was like, I'm more interested into the book, so we could develop it from there. And that's my working. That's where I'm at right now.
I see. Yes,
yes,
cloud,
yes,
Ponyo.
yeah, Cloud. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan.
I'm
you
here.
know,
I'm the same. So
yeah.
there's no judgment here.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of my work. Also, if you want to see my demo reel, my surfacing demo reel, I can show you. If
Please,
you go on you,
because demo reels
yeah,
are
if you go on
very.
YouTube, if if you go on YouTube and just type in Wayne Carnegie.
Okie dokie.
Carnegie. Yeah.
There we go.
And this one down here, the
Oh,
one with
look,
true.
there you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And click on the one with true and the Rainbow Kingdom, the video. That's it.
Okay,
Yes.
let me make sure that sound is coming through.
Sound secondary. So yeah, but this is Barbie. I worked on Barbie. Um, if I
You work
talk
on
to my daughter, and
a lot of
so this was a
Netflix
dark.
projects.
Yes, yes. So this is a Barbie DVD, and um, it's a very exciting project. Um, it's very like, and I get to work. I really get to work on the boat, like they're
Mhm.
on there. And here's True from the Rainbow Kingdom. This is how the asset look in the final. Nice.
This is
a
a
nut
nut
job.
job.
Yeah, this is my first feature film, and I work on the background stuff and the dynamite.
What is
And here's
a
Rusty Rivets. Yes, Rusty Rivets. Yes, I shade the butter sword.
alright? So
My
while
job
we're
was
watching this,
Yeah,
oh, sorry to interrupt you.
it's
You were-
okay. It's okay.
I just wanted to point out some things that have kind of gone unsaid. You started doing this. You started practicing the skill set before you got the job. So I noticed you did that with children's book animation. Sorry, animation, children's book illustration, and you also did it with surfacing, where you created your portfolio prior to,
Mm-hmm.
and
You did. That's
your
it.
number. Yeah,
Yeah, put it there. Put it there. That's it.
always have your
Yep.
contact information.
Yep. I put it at the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So that's my demo reel. It's a little bit outdated, but yeah, maybe one day I'll update it again once I get all my shots from the studios.
And you escape from
Usually
the
you have to wait.
NDAs.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to wait till it's released in theater, in Netflix, all that kind of stuff before you could actually um, salvage clips and make your demo reel.
Okay. So, there are some stuff I want to tell you about, but I also want to tell our students about. So, it's going to be a 2-for-1 right now. The first off is the Caribbean animation portal. So, Animae Caribe, JANN, Titan, and I want to make sure I'm getting their name right, the Barbados National Cultural Foundation, there we go, in addition to JAMPRO and the Caribbean Development Bank, have done a business model for collaboration between animation studios in the Caribbean. And this is not limited to only animators that are in the Caribbean. We also include animators that are outside of the Caribbean and in the diaspora. And so there's a registrar.
The Caribbean
Oh.
shows amazing promise in anime.
I believe this is the video in question, but there's a registrar of artists and what they do, so that persons can see what kind of talent exists in the Caribbean, what is available here, and so that Caribbean artists, both locally and in the diaspora, can get work here. And I believe this is very important to be abreast of these things, because as the industry develops, many of us do have to leave home, but there are associations, the animation networks are working together so that you can stay home and participate in the global industry. And so there is the Caribbean Animation business model website. There is also, it launched 2 days ago at the opening of Animae Caribe. The University of technologies, Tamana,
Mhm.
technology,
Mhm.
animation, and
Mhm.
production factory. Yes,
Yeah,
score.
nice.
So many, so many letters.
Yes.
So, and that is a outsourcing center for students
Mhm.
and animators in Trinidad and Tobago, and I believe it will be opened up to the rest of the Caribbean
That's very
for
good.
them to develop and to pursue contracts abroad and services and
Mhm.
develop these skills of students. I'm
That's great.
sure
That's
there's a
great.
whole bunch more that I've just
Mhm.
missed out on.
Mhm.
And in addition to that, JANN has launched its own educational profile
Mhm.
and platform. JANN has
Mhm.
recently acquired our own platform. It
Mhm.
is finished now, and now we're just uploading content. And this is to
That's
help
very nice.
animation studios. If I can click
Mhm.
courses, this
Mhm.
is my profile. This to help
Mhm.
animation studios, practitioners learn how to manage their studios. So you have contracts for strategic planning, you have contracts
Nice.
for designing characters and environments for animated TV shows.
Mhm.
And these are the courses that were conducted under the Yedai program, which recently concluded.
Mhm.
And if
Mhm.
you, I believe if you are in Jamaica, Kingston is a
Kingston.
product
Yeah.
of the Yedai
Yeah.
program. There's also the
Yeah.
Boss program, which sent studio owners to different animation markets such as Kids Screen. And
Mhm.
just to let students know, animation markets are where producers and studios and companies and those who have different intellectual properties, IP, to sell
Mhm.
gather together and you pitch your animation to someone. Studios like Disney and
Nice.
Pixar will tell you exactly what it is they're looking for to put on their
Mhm.
platform. And if you have something
Mhm.
similar, you can pitch it. The biggest one, I believe, is Mitcom, and even bigger than
Mhm.
Mitcom is Mit Junior
Mhm.
because animation for
Yeah.
kids is huge.
For kids, yeah. I love animation for kids.
It's
That's my
so
bread and
fun.
butter right there. Yeah.
Get to go
Animation for
crazy.
yeah, animation for kids is my kind of thing because again, also because I have a daughter now and everything, and I always when I'm making the content,
Hmm.
I always make it for her.
Something that she would
You know, make it
enjoy
for
and she
yes,
would love.
yes, yes,
So I don't have any kids. I do. I
yeah,
love my little cousin.
yes,
I
yes,
love watching them freak out or wanting to dress
yes,
up as the characters or
yes, yes,
when they say things, their character's favorite line. It just
yes.
warms your heart.
That's nice. Yes, yes.
Um, where was that? Right, BCOP. And so this is a platform that has been created for associations, schools,
Mhm.
businesses, and investors so that they can all meet
Mhm.
and collaborate. Right now, we are populating the platform. So if you have any IP, for example, you have IP that you're looking to get funded,
Mhm.
there's so you can put them on this platform and investors will be able to see it. You could put your pitch Bible here and, perhaps the trailer and the one page. And
That's
these
very
are all
nice.
technical terms, but guys, please do write
Yes.
them down and Google them. They're
Mhm.
very important if you
Yes.
decide that you ever want to pitch an animation to have a
Mhm.
one pager that tells how many episodes, which target group, what the art
Mhm.
style looks like, that sort of
Mhm.
information. And Google
Yeah.
is your friend.
Oh yeah, Google is nice. I Google all the time. I'm on Google every day looking for references, and
Hmm.
you just type in children's book or kids television, and you just see a whole bunch of stuff pop up relating. Also, there's a lot of website that I like to go on. AWN, Animation
Um,
Magazine,
hmm.
Cartoon
Toon
Brew.
Brew
Yeah, I'm always on those guys, just keeping up to date with what's going on in the industry and what's coming out, and see
for
who is hiring, who gets what projects, so I could apply there.
hmm
You know, always be on those
keep
content.
abreast of what's happening in the
Yep.
industry. And they go from all over the world. I believe Cam Cam from Animae Caribe actually featured, and for MIPCOM as well, and Kingston. And Kingston, I believe, was on the Animation Network. You can also joining associations. There is Teton. Associations have lots of workshops. They have lots of interviews. They will have portfolio reviews. They can contact you. They can put you in contact with resources to help you build your career and to grow your business. And
That's very nice.
yeah, I think that's all I have to say on our end. Oh, wait, no, one more thing.
Very good.
My website designer will get upset with me if I don't bring this up. So, last thing is we have a brand new website.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've been talking about it for years and it's finally here. We took all of the frequently asked questions that our members send us from YouTube, from Instagram, from Twitter. And we have created a website to cover all of that. So our 9th birthday is next year.
Good. That's very good. That's very good. I think I saw the website. I've been on it. It looks pretty good, and it's very, very simple and straightforward, where you could go and find a lot of information, about animation around the Caribbean. So that's good. It is good.
And our point of pride is our asset library that we're currently populating. We know that students, for example, you said that they tend to think that they have to be able to do everything. They have to know how to model. They have to know how to do background. They have to know how to do color, lighting. Basically, they have to be the whole studio as one person, and that's simply not true. And so what we decided to create is a asset library where students can click into it and they can get free models, free background designs, free props and assets to use in their animations. For example, trees. This is from our funding and grant manager, Kevin Jackson.
You're sharing your screen?
I believe so.
I think I'm still seeing the YouTube page. I think do a reshare.
Okay, resharing. Wait, have you not been seeing what I've been talking about this whole time?
I think I was just seeing the YouTube page. I think you. Oh yeah, here's the website. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to the homepage.
Yes.
So
asset library. Nice.
The asset library editorials. We're posting a whole lot here. Upcoming festivals. We are strong advocates of Film Freeway. They make your life very easy. Learning the principles. This will be connected to VCOP.
That's a very nice looking site.
Thank you. On behalf of our web developer, Kamar McInnes, he worked very hard. He and Kevin, our former president, worked very hard on this. And so we also have the animation studios in Jamaica where you can get training. And we are hoping for version 2, because this is just version 1, to link to all the other association websites so that we can have a interconnected network of sites and animation studios. These are industry resources available in Jamaica.
That's very good.
And our award-winning animations that come from Jamaican animators. We hear all the time, we don't see any Jamaican cartoons, or what are they doing? And so we decided to just put them together. So Spectacular Specs by Gashwayne, we don't have a video for it because it's in concept. He has currently turned it into a webtoon and it's doing very well. It won Best Storyboard at Kingston and 2nd place in the character design contest. Then there's Tale of Shadows by Coretta Singer. The reason I'm scrolling down is because we do actually have previews here where we can get them. Sometimes they're not there. But there's Kina Sky by Coretta Singer. And we also put the credits here so that any investors, any students who have to do research, because I know they get those essays, make life easy for you all. And then
That's true.
finally, my favorite page, the rates page.
Hmm.
Students starting out always ask, what should I be
Yep.
charging? So we have a base, average, and
Even me,
advanced.
even me,
Yeah,
I'm still like right now my new forte with the children's book. I'm having a battle there, man. So this, I'm gonna be looking at this.
please. So we have
Yeah.
illustrations, and you can, by where you're going, background painting, concept. For where it's blank, we're still doing research on where prices fall there. So that's the reason why these are blank. We don't want to just put any numbers there because, again, these are people's paychecks and livelihoods we're talking about.
Nice.
And
That's
then
very nice.
our forum.
Mm.
So we'll have our weekly challenges, the principles of animation's current lead here. Once VCOP is set up, we will be connecting it to the courses there. And then you have your general discussions and your information. But this has been. I'm just switching to show all the websites.
Hmm. That's very good.
And I think that has been everything that I want to
Yeah. Very
say.
impressive. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I hope this interview was good and was helpful to students. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. Our moderator will be there to help answer your questions and to help you guys through any questions you might have. And enjoy the next session because Story Play TV is up next.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, Wayne. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okie dokie.